to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to Cinema Surprise here on the Cinementalists. Today we begin October with Eraserhead. It was released originally at the Film X Festival on March 19th, 1977, written and directed by David Lynch. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here, and I didn't realize the bro dropped it 2 days before my birthday. That's kind of sick.
Yeah.
So
indeed, and a couple years also. You know, 23 of them.
Yes,
but no, yeah, very, very close, very close. So this was the first pick of yours in the new month. For those who don't know, we've been doing Cinema Surprise, but we kind of reshaped it for October. You know, we're removing our like decade rule. There's no like, oh, now that he's taken the 70s is off the board. No. But we do have to go pre-2000s horror Halloween type movies. And your first pick was Eraserhead. How are you feeling about that?
It is obviously quite the abstract movie, and to pull exactly how I think and feel about the movie is quite difficult to put into one sentence. But I did very much enjoy the experience of the movie, that's for sure. And I think it's very, this sounds a bit arrogant. I don't know. I've been trying to get this in my head and not make it sound so weird. But like if I were to watch this movie 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I think I hate it. Like I think I am like, what is this? Or like, I'm not the movie watcher that I am now. I feel, I don't know. I don't think I would have even thought much of the movie, I feel like. But then, just finally seeing movies for what they are, and that they don't have to just be for, superheroes and have cool stuff happen on screen. No, it's like sometimes it is more purely art. And I feel like this
more than plot.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of one of my least favorite critiques of a movie is that there's no plot. Now, that can be a problem if there's nothing else going for the movie. But when a movie looks this good, sounds this good, makes you feel the way this does, I don't need a coherent plot. You know what I'm saying? And even so, there's still a relatively coherent plot here. It's not like it's an anthology of scenes that don't have any binding. That's definitely not the case. But yeah, no, I'm with you. It's one that I couldn't show this to my brother, my brother who is 21, 22. Jesus.
That's weird to think about.
Yeah,
but,
fucking Christ.
I
couldn't show this to him, and it's not because it's not because of I don't think he's smart enough to get it. That's not the problem at all. Because nobody is. It doesn't require being smart to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a thing. He just wouldn't be open to it. He wouldn't be receptive of it. He would go, "This is it's in black and white." That's an automatic turnoff for a lot of people, which is another thing that just annoys the hell out of me. But that's neither here nor there. But there's a certain inaccessibility to it. And what's interesting about a movie like this is that I do think that you show this to me at the wrong time, and I shun it. I do not like it. You show it to me right on the cusp, and it might open my world a little bit though. Like there comes a point whenever it's like I could see it having either of those effects. Like, oh no, fuck this, or like, oh wait, this is what movies can be. And I think that makes it very special.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the idea of the Criterion collection is we are preserving movies that like The Dark Knight. I feel like that is that movie, it's great. People love it, but like no real reason to like, I don't know. It's good. It's well preserved.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Yeah.
And the idea of like like these movies are more like I'm stepping into a museum. I feel like, and I am I'm getting something else out of it that like a Batman movie just can't quite ever reach. And it's like when movies become more art than but that's the weird concept, is that a comic book movie technically is art as well. But
no, and it's a spectrum, that's really all it is. And not to say that one version of it is strictly better than the other, you know what I'm saying? Like there's an ungodly amount of people who will never watch Eraserhead who have seen Dark Knight more than once. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's a lot of people who have watched Eraserhead more than once who will probably never watch The Dark Knight. And I love that film is just such a subjective medium that it has such a broad sensibility across the board that, like, compared to the movie we covered last week, this is extremely different. And even then, tonally, we're dealing with this sort of on the edge of your seat, what's going to happen next sort of vibe, like we were with Prisoners last week. But it's still an entirely different experience. You know what I'm saying? And I think that being able to, I don't know, that's kind of the marvel of Eraserhead for me, is that it's a truly experiential film, like when you're in it, you are in it, like, and there's nothing else that exists. You're kind of drawn in and you're glued to it, and it's gravitating and disturbing and viscerally uncomfortable. And I think that there's kind of what Lynch always does is he reminds me of the beauty in that sort of disturbance. And it's really fascinating. I don't feel that way often.
Yeah, it's like very, very dark. I've not watched one Lynch thing and have felt, man, I'm in fantastic Mr. Fox mode, and I'm dopamined up. I am so comfy, cozy. No, it's like I am very uncomfortable. The sound design is clearly to get you there too. Like, I mean, there's barely dialogue, like in the movie, I don't like barely a whole lot said. And it's just a lot of things that occur. But I think maybe the main difference that I find of a traditional movie, or more like movies that I thought, I enjoyed before, is that there is some, whether studio pressure or pressure to fit the audience. Like you have to, I don't know, they are making money at the end of the day. I feel like there are business decisions. I don't think that there was a singular business decision or any pressure from like that, like how, I don't like, this was a more marveling to me of like, how do you even put this down to a script? How do you even do you write the screenplay actually before you shoot? Did he just, I don't know, like it felt like these things just came to him, and then he was like, all right, this is what we're doing now. And maybe it's more of like, I have just the one viewing of it, and that is it. And so I was just kind of on this, whole time, and trying to figure it out as I'm going. But no, I think like I at least these, what to call them, the babies that are in here. I don't, monsters, sperm worms, whatever, is like a weird metaphor for children, but I feel like that is just all that it is that it is like kind of whack that we as humans just kind of can do one thing, pop out a baby, and then like continue on our lives like nothing's going on. Like they were kind of in the room. They were when the neighbor came over, the lady, his next door neighbor. And he was just kind of like, all right, well, I have a baby. It is a monster. It is weird. And so, like, I don't know. But he's like, all right, I don't really know this girl. I'm going to just suffocate her. Just get, baby, shut the fuck up for a little bit. I'm trying to have happy, lustful sex time. And it's like, I feel like I wonder if the point of this is like to show that he has this relationship that isn't fully perfect by any means. Like the mother is weird. I don't know. Everything is weird over at that house. But at least, I don't know. It seems that he is like, there is a real connection with her, or like, where have you been? I've been looking, blah, 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 blah.
Where have you been?
But with the girl across, his next door neighbor, it's purely just lust or just whatever. There's nothing there. And so I feel like that's
temptation. Yeah.
It is just a test, or like all of this is like a test, is kind of what it feels like at the end when he wakes up but doesn't wake up, and and so it is very, very but that was the through line that I feel like I got the most, was like the relationships that he was seeing, and then how it affected I don't know, his getting into heaven, I guess, which is like a weird it feels like that is, I don't know, it is a Black Lodge-esque, or a fix your heart or die. And I mean, it is, we're talking Lynch, so I do like that he carries his themes over. I just didn't know that, like, it would be so, and similar as, I don't know, it's so, every movie that he makes is so different, and that they don't really relate, but these concepts of like the Black Lodge, or just, doing what deep down is right, sort of thing, is what I get from Lynch. And that's all that I was mainly thinking of the viewing. But then if I have to pick a favorite scene, I don't know, it's kind of hard to, but it is
it's all one.
The pencil shred, or I don't know, the pencil mechanism, the machine, whenever he dies.
The fashioning of the Eraserheads, yeah.
And they drill into the back of his head, so is it...
Pull some brain matter out.
So they're taking his life, they're taking his memories, they're taking his, it feels like, is it all of him that are going into this, or is it just like a very abstract idea here? But the thing I got out of it was is just pencils can be erased, is that the big test was like, okay, draw the line. The pencil doesn't matter. It's just the eraser. They're testing the eraser, which is like a weird thing, but it's just, nope, it's working. It can erase and whatever. And it feels a little Josie trapped in the door, the drawer pull. I know I'm making a bunch of Peaks references.
No,
but,
I mean, it's relevant, it's relevant. I think that there's a certain degree of that, a certain element of that. But one of the things that I find the most intriguing about this movie is the industrial angle. We live in like this industrial purgatory where there doesn't seem to be a lot of other people who exist beyond our scope here. It's just kind of, you can tell there's a larger world. There's always something functioning. There's always something, clanging and clattering and all that. And I think that one of the things that I find this movie, because I don't think it's about one thing, one of the things that I think it's about is resigning yourself to this is the first David Lynch feature film. And I think you can tell it's made by a young, bitter guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't, he gains a lot of positivity later on in his career. And there's hardly any to be discerned here.
Yeah.
I think that one of the main themes that I always get out of it is a really strong distaste for domestic life. For a normal life, for having a wife and kid, for working a 9 to 5, coming home at the end of your day to a crying baby, and then it's just never ending cycle from there on out. Like that's kind of that's what this movie is, and ultimately he becomes a cog in a machine, a literal piece of material to be siphoned and used and turned into a product. So I think it's anti-commercialism, it's anti-industrialism, and anti-domesticism. And I think it's really interesting to see it kind of play out in a way where it's almost saying that, like, your life on Earth, this life isn't all there is. You know, in heaven everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're gonna put you through the fucking ringer to get there. But one day when you do, it'll be fucking glorious. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of like before he had the kid, his pathways or like potential routes that he could go down in the future, you know, are very broad, very, you know, a lot of branches he could go down. But then once the kid is in his life, it's like, boom, you got one kind of path that you can go down now, you know, or at least one, mostly, you know, you gotta care for the kid, whatever. But then they both are, she seems to just be like, I fucking can't take this anymore. This is terrible. I'm out of here. I love the awkward pull of the suitcase out from under the bed.
Incredible.
I didn't know what was going on here. This was the same kind of Bob angle of like
Bob
in
shot,
the bed. And I'm like, what is about to go down? And then she just grabs her suitcase and leaves. So I love that, like, even moments like that of, if you're watching this as Lynch's first, you don't have that pre-knowledge that I do, I guess, is like, there was more that was like scaring me from his future works of like, I don't know, of just knowing kind of.
The way it bleeds through is pretty incredible. And one of the actual, I think this is the single biggest influence aesthetically and just generally sound design, photography wise, all that good stuff on The Return. I don't think any other piece of film he's ever done has quite as much carryover as Eraserhead, which is fascinating because they are 40 years apart and they are the first thing he did and the last thing he did.
That's awesome.
It's very cool. It's very cool. And I think that, you'll know what I mean when we get there, but like Inland Empire has a little bit of the same thing going on as far as the carryover, but even that is a little, that's the one that last night, whenever you're like, have I seen Lynch's most Lynch movie? I was like, no.
That's why.
I was like, no, I don't think you have.
That's crazy.
No, don't get me wrong. Eraserhead is,
what is the most Lynch movie? You know, I guess. What
does it exist? Is really like, is there really a most Lynch movie? I don't know that there is because they're all so him except for Dune. Dune is the only one that doesn't feel like his movie.
Yep, I'd agree.
And even that he managed to get his flavor into.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Oh fuck! Are the I just realized the little small chickens that they're eating. They're just like real chickens, but they're small. Are these the fucking weird? Are they the kids? Like, are they eating fucking? I don't know. Is that just a small chicken? Is that all that it's supposed to be, or is it like we don't really see what these things fucking grow. No, it's a different. I don't know. Like, 'cause he cuts open the like. I don't know, the wrapping, the little. Whatever you wrap a baby in, or what, you know? And then it just
swaddle.
I mean, I don't know what comes out, you know. It didn't really you didn't really have a good look at the body. It felt like it was just spewing out whatever.
Well, the body, I feel like when he cut open the swaddling, it like cut the baby open.
Yeah, and then it just started to spew out.
Man, Lynch's like absolute love for texture has never been on quite as much display as it is here.
Man. The dinner, like whenever he's supposed to cut it, you know, and then the wife is just like she's fucking nutting, I guess, you know, or
and crying
like,
and
everything. Yeah, it's not
good,
but it is good, but it's it's terrible. And then it's like I mean a weird
grandma in the kitchen that's always smoking and doesn't move, and the dad being unfazed. Look at my knees. Look at these knees. Yeah,
just smiling and like the time. It feels I guess dream-esque. This is the closest anything that I feel like I've watched that mimics a dream. And still, even when it is to this degree and the closest that you can get, there's still. You know, this is single A ball compared to Major League is still not the comparison. Like like a dream is just something that we all can't put into words.
Fake. Yeah, you can't fake.
But like here is like the part of a dream that I hate is that they're so vivid. It is like complete takeovers, but then you wake up and you can't remember a damn thing that happened.
Right.
You can remember the bigger ideas, but you can't remember exact specific details. And I feel like that is exactly how I feel of this movie, is that I am only thinking of the themes or of, the bigger
the broad
parts.
scope.
Yeah. And it's almost like the events themselves don't matter. Like that they don't. The only things, I guess they're an indirect way to get you to do something I don't know. It's like, I feel like this is all a dream. Is every night you enter the Black Lodge a little bit, and you have a little test, It's like, am I good with myself a little bit? I feel like, and it's like I hope, people check themselves or think of their own thoughts, but it's like, I feel like a lot of the times we just live our lives and we continue going on. But a dream is like a subconscious, we don't even fully understand it. And it feels like it is kind of like, it is only what you got in your head already up there. You're not awake. Right. You're not taking in new experience. You are fully asleep and just recollecting. And that is like I don't know, it feels like that is, he is in here. These experiences that he's showing of like going to like we're in this, like the house that we went in. Like we started in his apartment, and then the radiator, and then there was grass or whatever, like,
dirt
under
and all that
the
good
radiator.
stuff.
And then it's like, so we're in there, but not really. And then because we go back into his apartment at one time with,
and then we sink into the pool.
So I feel like there's no, I feel like it doesn't literally matter. It is just a dream mechanic.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't take place in the real world. Like it doesn't. That's why like trying to equate it to real world sort of physics and everything is always going to be difficult because it's a fantasy. I mean, we start with what I believe is an image of God pulling a lever to trigger this series of events unto Henry.
Yeah, I like.
And whether that's just playing with the pawns that he's created, or it's literally testing him to see if he can make it to heaven, I don't know. But starting with that image of his head sideways with the the egg, as it were, and then the baby coming out of his mouth, after the lever is pulled.
It seems
it's a little Alice in Wonderland, even, like he almost like he fell down the rabbit hole, and this is kind of what, like, going through that puddle that we watch the baby fall into creates the events as we see them, sort of.
And I like the idea of it being God, or like this movie's God, and like the lever pull or whatever. But do you think that like he, and obviously, I don't think you truly know this, but like, do you think he is pulling the lever knowing that it is affecting Henry's life exactly, like he is doing these things, or just like this is the way the world is set up, sort of thing, and that it's like through the literal just mechanics of the world, like, are these levers only affecting just Henry's life and what we see, or is it just like all around like it felt a little bit to me that he was unaware a little bit of the exact things that he was causing, I guess. It's like I don't think that's one of the things, the key thing for me that indicates to me that this is specific for Henry. Just the language of the opening sequence where we see Henry and we see the man from the other, I'm calling him the man from the other place, the God, as it were, looking out his window. I take it that he is looking at, we're seeing what he's seeing, kind of. And there's something in the return that kind of informs this for me that I can't dive into. That's so cool. Oh my God, that is so sick.
And it's super cool. And I mean, like, it's just kind of a, it's a text-to-text connection. It's not really like, and obviously Eraserhead is Twin Peaks canon. No, nothing like that. It just, there's a certain element to it that feels like, we're seeing a similar sort of thing. And much more clearly, I think, in The Return, ironically. But another moment is when whenever he's looking at the lady in the radiator, and then she turns into this guy. He's looking at the lady in the radiator. It cuts back to Henry, and then it cuts back to the lady in the radiator, and it's this fucking guy.
Okay. I guess I'm trying to remember. It's tough to remember scenes.
It's during the sequence when he's in the radiator, of course, and they wheel the dirt, the tree that's on his nightstand out, and it starts bleeding.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. A lot more.
And then it pans back to him, and he's in horror, and then they pan back again, and there's nobody there. So it's like,
yes. They very much pulling the strings, but also at the same time. Not like it is like another free will verse. Is the path already there?
Yeah, he has the choices. You know, he can follow a path, but it's a guidance sort of thing. And that's why I think that ultimately Henry getting into, if the end is to believe to be heaven, which I think it is, I view the lady from the radiator as if the guy pulling the levers is Bob, I view the lady from the radiator as the giant.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, the good.
You know what I'm saying?
Or the
if we're going Twin Peaks comparisons, it's kind of, almost, that's how I like the more positive force. Ish, yeah. And hugging, and the hug that she gives him at the end of the movie in the, beautiful white pure space that feels like you've made it. You've seen the light and you're there. Yeah. That shocks the hell out of me. It feels like Henry fails every test he's given.
Yeah. I know. It does. Like, that is it didn't feel that he went on a journey that would end with, all right, you're gifted the afterlife now. And that's, I'm trying to break down, how am I going to get into heaven now? Is it truly good acts, just doing more good acts to get there? Or is it like just being absolutely sure in the acts you make? If you make evil, if you, I don't know. I'm not saying that if you're acting in an evil way, but genuinely, that's going to get you.
You're like, I know this is the right thing, but it's objectively the bad thing. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I don't know, but I was right there with you. I'm like, why are we kind of seeing the light right now? Like, what journey did he go on? And was it, when it
comes to the journey, like, I feel like it was kind of a reward for having gone through these trials, as it were, you didn't
die through this, like you didn't.
Yeah, you did. Oh, and like you didn't.
Or crack out.
The other thing too that makes me question the morality of the God and everything, I feel bad for the baby.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm supposed to, but I do, and I don't know if that's just because it's a baby and it's crying and stuff, and I want whenever he cuts it open, that feels like the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But maybe there was no baby actually born, and this was the start of their relationship or whatever, and he was having the thoughts of, am I going to start a family with this woman, whatever. And then this was his thoughts of like, oh, if I do have a kid, this is how it's going to turn out, blah, blah, blah. And maybe it's more of just like, no, like maybe this isn't where my life is supposed to go, sort of thing. So it's him kind of, where I said the branches of possibility were very broad. It's like at this moment when he cuts the baby, then his branches reopen up, I feel like a little bit, or his life opens back up a little bit. So maybe
they're not even sure it is a baby. That's one of my favorite lines in the movie.
Because something there is what. Yeah, it's like there's something there.
Well, and that's another thing that indicates to us that this movie's obviously a fantasy. He has no clue that the girl he's actively seeing was pregnant, that she would have had a baby. She's not even sure she had a baby. It's because she there's nothing. there's nothing that's tangibly real about this, and I really appreciate that you can't logic your way in and out of any aspect of the film. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is entirely up to your interpretation, and I think that's fucking awesome. That's why I will always love that interview he did whenever he was like, Eraserhead is actually my most spiritual film. Elaborate on that.
No, never will, because that elaborating makes it less spiritual. I feel, or at least from the creator, is that he is the god for this movie.
he reserves his right to the knowledge of what he is saying. And
but
there's we've always had a common argument that comes up over interpretation is the author's intention as important as the audience's read of it, or is one no, none of it's absolute. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the author's intent is important. I don't think it's everything, and I think to say that it is nothing and that it's entirely up to the audience is also, like, absolutism is never ironically cool.
Yeah, we it's crazy. Like 1977, that was the detail I kept going back to, is that you can hop into the theater and buy a ticket for Star Wars or buy a ticket for Eraserhead. And I don't know if this was March in the festival or whatever, if the theater release is lined up at all, but the general idea of like how different these movies are coming out in the same year, and in one, it is, you're meant to like escape the current world you're in. Star Wars is we back.
Sorry.
We back.
Yeah, sorry. I grabbed my phone and put my thumb directly on the hang up button. That's my bad.
But hey, no, but yeah, I guess Star Wars is what I was going on about, how it's very escapism, or you're kind of or at least why I attached to Star Wars very early on is like, oh, this is a whole world that is so crazy beyond my own, and all these cool characters. But here is like, it is, to me, like the opposite of escape. It's more of like self-reflection or like just thinking of life in general, which is like usually earlier on in my movie watching, I wanted to watch movies so that I didn't have to think of the real world. But now I appreciate these movies a lot more. The ones that do make me look inward or to think of things very, very differently. Because I mean, we have alien, whatever the fuck, we don't even know what to call it, but we do have this weird, like, man, I do feel kind of bad for it, like, or like, man, this sucks for this bait, but like, but also is like, well, I don't really have an attachment to it at all. It is this kind of this weird feeling that's out there.
No, it's a natural empathy, like it's a small helpless creature who needs to be taken care of. And I mean, the thing is that this is what babies are like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter that it looks like a fucking monster. Yeah. This is what babies behave like, and that is what they are bothered by, is the baby's behavior. And that's why
you're not ready for
another
parenting,
important,
maybe.
Yeah, another important detail here is that David Lynch had, when this movie was in production, a young daughter.
He was so pissed that he was up all night that he's like, I gotta make a movie about this. I
gotta make a fucking movie about this. And so, like, I mean, he had a very young child at home, and when the movie went into production, it was a long production, by the way. He had a lot of trouble getting financial backing from the American Film Institute for it. Ran out of money after 3 years of production.
Oh, damn. Okay, so this was in the making for, okay.
Oh, so it's a long time coming. And he actually, there was so much, like, they had to, like, they had a lot of production hiatuses, like where they ran out of money, so they couldn't afford to pay people. So they had to, go on hiatus, and some people just didn't come back to the production, and, he had to find ways to, supplement that. And he promised a bunch of money on the back end based on screenings and everything. And it was a pretty big success for being what is known as a midnight movie. It only screened in select theaters at midnight. And people would go see it that way. Which is super cool and doesn't happen anymore, but would be super awesome to bring back. Hopefully post-COVID, we can get back to it a little bit. Haven't seen that yet though.
I know.
But
it's just,
yeah, no, I mean, regardless, yeah, it went through a little bit of a production hell. And it is a fascinating crew that did work on it. Jack Nance, of course, being the lead here. You love to see that. You do.
That's
the
all.
Percolator.
Good old chess god, a fisher god, but and then here, I don't know. He's a printer, I guess. Is his job the
newspaper man?
Yeah, a printer, which is always funny. Of like people used to be computers, like that used to be a job title, and then a printer, yes. But now we just think of that as such a machine. More of a machine taking over. I don't know, this industrial kind of view. I didn't really think of the industrial side of it, but like the god pulling very industrial mechanical levers that have very real effects on the or real effects on the world and stuff. It's like a this breaking the cycle maybe is like I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to see the purpose of him cutting the baby open and how, and I feel like to me it's only like it is the baby's already born, but it's just kind of like in the dream it's already born, but I feel like it's just his way of being like, this is not the way my life is supposed to go right now.
Yeah.
And even the wife, she picks up her bags and leaves. She's gone. But even before she leaves, they're having the first night where they're sleeping, and it's just, or I guess not her first night, but his first night with her, and she gets up, and shut up, like, goes over and screams at it in a weird, that's kind of a crazy thing that you can get there, because to have you have that thing in you, in a perfect world, usually you are hopefully planning to have a kid, and then it is in you for 9 months, and then it comes out of you. Obviously, I have not had a kid. This is probably the worst hell to go through, of not getting any sleep and them crying, but it is like this weird emotion of fully going into this life and creating a new baby, and then it causing you to be like, this sounds really bad, but like, I want to kill you almost right now. Like, I have done everything to bring you into the world.
Well, and that's why I'm like, that's a vague gray area in Eraserhead, though, is that like, there's no evidence she did that.
Yeah. But it's,
they're not even sure it is a baby, and like, I wonder how much resentment she might harbor for that reason, if she did go through all this, and then they're like, we don't even know what the fuck this thing is. Was that the first lever pulled, was like, that's what the baby's gonna be, haha. Because you didn't,
because then she pops out a bunch more of them, or whatever, like,
just laying in bed.
I mean, whatever happened there, and he's just pulling them out, he has like, and then he keeps, what's the little itty bitty thing that he keeps in the little cabinet, that all of the little itty bitty worm, the little I don't know. It's in there, and then all of these other ones that he's pulling out of her, he's like throwing them against the wall and splatting them right next to this cabinet where his own personal little I don't know. Is this like maybe the seed that he's protecting, a little bit of like this my kid, or like this is, I'm waiting for the right time to have my kid, or like the kid that is supposed to feel right. And then I think like this one, it was just no, it's not there, or
I don't know. Well, and that like the whole interaction with at her house, her parents' house, whenever the mom pulls him aside and is like, did you have sexual intercourse? And, I must know, I have to know. Did you, like that whole thing, starting to lick his face and stuff.
Yeah.
That, I'm like, when it comes to being able to discern any real tangible purpose for specific things within the scenes, I have a tougher time than a broad strokes feeling, it does get a little more difficult. But there are like, again, I love a lot of the production stories behind the scenes here. Production was so long that Lynch did, for stretches of it, spend his nights sleeping in the bed in the movie.
Damn. Yeah, it did feel very much like him. Like that. I mean, I didn't know it took this long to make. That is kind of wild. It makes sense thinking about it, but it felt, not to call it lazy, but it felt like we're here on set, here's the camera, I'm not even going to think of like what's coming next. It is just like it will evolve as time goes on. And that's kind of, I wonder how much of it was written like before and in stone, or if he allowed some like wiggle room to be that kind, where dreams.
The reason he actually had trouble funding the movie was because his original draft of the script that he gave to the AFI was 20 pages.
Is that very short for a script?
That's
I'm
extremely
assuming?
short.
Yeah, okay.
That's extremely short. It's a very, very short script. And so, because there's hardly any dialogue, there doesn't need to be a lot of stage direction, because that is, it's more image crafting for him and soundscape and everything like that. So whenever it comes to production design wise, I adore this movie. I love the opening sequence. One of my favorite images is that one where where Jack Nance walks into frame and there's the big giant rectangular door that is like slightly opened. So it creates like this gradient on the wall. I fucking love, like, it goes from shadow to light. I love it. The little mounds he walks over to get there, adore that.
Open it up on his ear too. He had an ear in a field, I feel like, with
right. Yep.
And now we have opened up on the ear. The egg goes into his head.
Yep.
The baby comes out of his mouth. Wow. Is that just in her face? The lady in the radiator is just, she's got eggs in her face, in her mouth. That's just like what those are. Wow. Okay. That's I thought it was just, I didn't think of maybe what they were. But I don't know. Is that? I guess it's the only egg, the only spherical thing. I don't know. Is that what they're trying to give off there? Is that like Yeah, I mean there is this strange. This is right before Alien, which is very interesting. That Alien comes out 2 years after. I have this weird thought that Ridley Scott saw this and was like, "All right, I'm in this weird weird creation mood. I gotta take this to the next level." And then he thought of Alien. But I think that's just me. I don't know, hoping for things there. But no, this to show babies like this or creation like it is so weird that we take it. I don't know, like every animal does it on Earth, or like right. But it's such a weird dreaming, reproduction, maybe just the two things that it is so weird that we are all just so okay with all of it. Dreaming more, reproduction we got to, I don't know, that's kind of, if we want to just continue, it's just the way life goes. Dreaming, that's one I will never be okay with, and that's here I feel like he is in age. This is not reality as we know it, but it very well might, like when he wakes up, this is still him. Like, he was the one having the dream, so
right.
It's not real for anyone else. But then when he wakes up and decides to do what he wants to do next, is it based on what he thought during this dream?
Does this have a profound effect on him? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I find it to be kind of, I always come back to that quote where David Lynch said it's his most spiritual film, and trying to connect that to that realm. It could almost even be like a twisted take on the story of Abraham and Isaac, the one where God's like, kill your son. And he's like, "Oh, damn, man. All right, I guess." And then like they get there and an angel is like, "No, don't do that. Here's a goat," and what if like the lady in the radiator is like that angel, but is basically telling him, kill your that's the one. That's the thing to do. Because they fall from the ceiling in the radiator and she steps on them and stomps on them and stuff, killing that. Like, it's almost like like go for it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe it's not like maybe it's a twisted vision of heaven. Like in heaven everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the way to get there is, proving your faith a little bit, proving proving that you are following his guidance in all capacities.
And the fact that he kind of turns into, his head pops off and then there is that underneath him. I feel like it is we all were a baby at one point, that we all came from the same place and we all have these childlike emotions or whatever still in us, even when we grow. And I feel because it was activated by when he saw his neighbor with another man, and he was just like, oh no, that's bad, I don't like that or whatever. So I feel like it's like but why, why is he feeling, that way in that moment? He has no attachment to that lady, but he feels weird that there's another man with her because he got whatever. And then it's like, oh yeah, you're a fucking child. I feel like that's kind of like that doesn't matter sort of a thing. And it's like and then he goes into kind of child mode. So yeah, his head, like he had to kill this version of himself. Like I feel like it, like the more I am talking about it, the more I feel like it is kind of like a pruning of a potential branch, this is a route he could have gone down, but the baby had to go, and he had to go. I don't know, is kind of a thing, and he's now reborn a little bit and with clear vision, I feel like. And maybe that's he's not dead at the end of the movie. I don't feel like he I don't know. Like, is he did he really enter heaven, or was it just you're on the correct path? If you were to die, I don't know, at this moment, then yes, you could enter. So it's never like do all of these things, then check mark, you enter heaven. It's like it can happen at any point, you can die at any point. So it's like you gotta be ready, fix your heart or die. Like, yeah, I'm coming back to this quote quite heavy. It feels like a great sum up of a lot of Lynch's work. It is, and I love this theme of the world can be so dark, and he shows it as very dark and grim, but in this one there isn't a whole lot of light to pick off here. But in his future works, it's like there is this weird, strange feeling of like, no, everything is actually almost better, because like good existing in this world almost makes it sweeter, even sweeter. That it can counteract all of the evil and molesting, rape. He gets into the worst of emotions, but this one, it is just having a baby with a kid or having a baby with a woman. There is no crime, I feel like, usually attached to.
The only and that's why I'm like, a question you almost asked, and I appreciate you holding back, was you went, is he literally? And then you went, well, yeah, because you were like, no. Well, no. You were like, no, he's not.
Yeah,
yeah. Like no matter how you finish that question, no, because literally is literally impossible to deal with here. That, and I adore that sensibility you're speaking to in Lynch. It's almost like the world is full of darkness, and there's tons of real evil and terrible things happen every day. And it's almost, his movies don't even say that goodness will win. He basically just says that it's worth trying, it's worth fighting for. And I really appreciate that. And this movie, that doesn't happen, that's not really there. That's what makes it one of his more embittered movies to me. Is that it almost rewards it rewards bitterness in this one. It's, it doesn't just, it's one of the only movies where the the main character steers into the skid of shittiness and is like, good job.
Mm-hmm.
That was the right thing to do. That doesn't really happen often in these movies, you know, like Blue Velvet. We just covered that a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when Jeffrey's tempted by that sort of side, he feels shame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he cries in his bedroom and he's like,
yeah,
what have I done? Kind of, you know, like that can't be who I am. And Henry, on the other hand, is like, I'm gonna cut this fucking baby open, and that's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And now, don't get me wrong, I don't think he knew he was going to cut open the baby. He obviously didn't. He's shocked whenever it opens up and everything like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the evolution of Lynch from this to a Blue Velvet is he's still having all of that eeriness and, you know, stuff that he can provide by being the director, but I feel like he's allowing his actors to do more there, and like to actually to show the emotions a little more explicitly. Like this one is very vague and very abstract, but like I think by at least, you know, Blue Velvet is way less abstract. We are following a very through, like there is a clear plot.
There's a concise, clear narrative there also. Yeah. And ironically, speaking of the performance thing, again, connecting it to Twin Peaks, the most similar performance elements occur in the waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the quietness, the characters just kind of observing, and every speaking that does occur is strange and vague. You know, like it feels like that is where Henry is functionally, is that place between life and death, deciding where he's going to go. A little bit. There's that element of otherworldliness and surreal sort of nightmarish situations. And I don't know. I love it, man. It's one of those movies that, and a lot of Lynch's work is like this. It's like, do I have my interpretation of it? Do I think I get it? Yes. But will I ever know if I do? No. You know, and I think that's awesome. And
it's different for every person. It'll be different for me if I watch it tomorrow. It'll be different for 5 years. Like this is a timeless. There is no. It came out in the 70s, but like it doesn't matter. This is a movie outside of time. The Waiting Room. You know, as we know, time is not working normally. But yeah, this as far as my Lynch journey, I do. I like when there is a little more plot or narrative. I do like his future works, which I do think is a good sign. You know, he's evolved as a filmmaker. But to see that this is like a start for someone is why. Like, to be like, all right, world, this is me. You know, here is how I'm gonna make movies, or what I'm gonna do, and yeah, like a experience that I will never forget. It's more of the experience of the movie and not the movie itself. But you know, I do. The visuals were very, very nice. If I want to pull something, watching a black and white movie.
It's a gorgeous movie. I love he almost seems to think that black isn't black enough. You know, like he wants more dark, you know.
Yes.
And obviously in the contrast to the white, like the lighter elements of a scene, he it's like really well lit, extremely well lit. And I love that he's like, he wants to figure out though how to make every single thing as contrasted as possible. I love the lobby of Henry's apartment, the chevron black and white floor emerging there also, which we see as the floor in the waiting room.
He loves
later
this pattern.
on.
Yes, he
does love this pattern. And I think that again, I think that lends to the idea that they represent kind of the same place.
This in black and white, like having to, that is kind of the main focus of black and white filmography, is the contrast, or knowing what is going to be different. And yeah, that's to think of what this does look like in color. It probably I don't know. It probably would still look okay, but it looks much better in the black and white.
It was like, it wasn't made for that. It was made to be in black and white. And I love that sensibility. I love whenever they swipe the eraser shavings and then they like rain across the camera in that sort of sparkling way. I love it. It's gorgeous to look at. Incredible sound design. Him and Alan Splett were incredible collaborators. Also worked together on Dune and Blue Velvet as well. Shot by Fred Elms, who would go on to shoot Wild at Heart, and Blue Velvet, if I'm not mistaken.
Blue Velvet. I don't know, that song has...
The assistant director on this movie, Catherine Coulson, actress who you know best as Log Lady.
What? Log Lady on the production side of things? Okay.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Yes, indeed.
I like that.
Yeah, so another one of those, just like the crew from Eraserhead being David Lynch, Jack Nance, Catherine Coulson working together in a really, tight capacity, and them being together again on Twin Peaks a few years later.
I need you to be a fisherman and a log lady, guys. I have this show. You won't believe it. You're going to be the most side characters, but I don't know. Not to downplay the log lady and Pete, but maybe more of just like they didn't have to be the stars of the show, but I wonder how he approached them of I've worked with you before. I got this to the log lady specifically. Pete is a lot more of a normal character, but to come on and just, all right,
there's a fish in the percolator. I mean, Pete gets probably one of the defining lines and moments of the entire show whenever he finds Laura and says, she's dead, wrapped in plastic. Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's I'm like, it's a big moment. It's an iconic moment anyway. And I think that we obviously begin our coverage of The Return on Fire Pod with me next Monday. So just here in a couple days, we begin The Return, and I'm so very, very excited for that. I am finishing my rewatch of The Return prior to us beginning that, which is a lot of fun. And Catherine Coulson, Jack Nance passed away sadly in like the late 90s.
Rest in peace.
So he unfortunately obviously didn't get to live long enough to be a part of that, but Catherine Coulson did. And she plays Log Lady in a few episodes and has some of the most affecting, beautiful moments of the entire show. Specifically one that I watched last night and I fell the fuck out over. Like I cried my ass off last night. It was when I texted you. I was like, watching The Return. What a beautiful fucking show. Like it was like right before, and then I sent you a couple shots like immediately after, completely unrelated to Catherine Coulson and Margaret Lanterman and all that. But it's a magnificent show. I cannot wait to dig into it, and them being the bookends, Eraserhead and The Return of Lynch's career. As much as I would have loved getting another feature film or getting another movie or, because it's pretty well documented that he was working on something and was probably going to make something else with Naomi Watts and Laura Dern and Kyle MacLachlan, and everybody was going to be back, and it was going to be another big thing, and unfortunately won't ever get made, at least not by Lynch. And if it's not going to be made by Lynch, it shouldn't be made at all.
Yeah, kind of true at that point. Even if all the actors got together and they're like, "Nah, it still would feel a little weird." I don't know.
No, yeah, they wouldn't feel right about it either. Yeah. There are rumors that they're going to release the script in some capacity to be read, which would be very cool. I would love that.
As much
Jennifer Lynch, his daughter, who was the daughter who had existed at the time of Eraserhead.
Oh yes, the inciting.
She's been well documented recently as being like she's a big advocate of doing that. Like people deserve to see his last work in some capacity, because he was actively working on it. It wasn't like it it was about to go into production. It was going to they were pretty confident that was going to move forward, and it just unfortunately didn't get the time to.
He put it down on paper, in pen. It's there. It's not in his head. It's not in pencil. It can't be erased.
It's down. It's there.
The fact that he is dead, but the idea is down, and we can still, in some way, experience it. And I feel, that's my main takeaway from this movie. At least is I'm gonna maybe not throw away all my pencils, but because for math it's very I make too many goddamn mistakes, little itty bitty writing mistakes. But maybe this is the point. Maybe that's the whole point: is fucking get better, stop making mistakes and use a pen. But no, I don't want to boil down Eraserhead to that. It's more of the idea of be sure of what I'm doing and be sound with it, and do things that I'm proud of, and that I maybe, are
unapologetically yours. Yeah, he's a incredible creative mind. One of the greatest of all time. I absolutely love David Lynch, and we've done a lot of Lynch lately. 3 feature films, 1 collection of deleted scenes, and 1 series finale in the last month here on our podcasts between the Cinementalists and Fire Pod with me. And now, every Monday for the next 18 Mondays, we'll be discussing an hour of television directed by David Lynch. So we've got a lot to look forward to. That's over on Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast. But I'm going to do some plugs, and then we're going to rate this movie, and then I will announce what next week's cinema surprise is. And I'm very excited. So, if you would, you're a Lynch fan, you've watched Twin Peaks, go to Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast, far and away our biggest show ever, has like a third of the amount of episodes as this show does, and has many more downloads. People are digging it. I'm getting more listener interaction. I actually have some things to read from the audience next week.
Cool.
Whenever we get on the return. I'm very excited for that. And I'll surprise you with that a little bit, because that's kind of the point. A lot of our audience interaction will be, what should I say to the newbie? The one who hasn't seen this.
That's kind of awesome. That's fun.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good stuff. So, I'm excited for that. We got the return coming up. It begins. We just finished the original run of the series. We got, Fire Walk with Me done. We got the missing pieces in, and now it is happening again. We are discussing another season of Twin Peaks. I'm very, very excited. Next 18 weeks, baby. Stick by us. It's going to go all the way through February of next year, and I cannot wait. So you better hop on the train, rewatch The Return, watch The Return for the first time. Regardless, you should join us, because we're having a great time. I've seen the show. Joseph is not, and we're having a fantastic time discussing Twin Peaks. That's Fire Pod with me. We are also doing Geek with Me, a nerd shit podcast, where right now we are discussing season 2 of Peacemaker. And I'm very, very excited, because we're coming up on the conclusion of Peacemaker season 2. Earlier this week, we covered season 2, episodes 5 and 6. Here in a couple weeks, we will be discussing season 2, episodes 7 and 8. That's the penultimate and the finale episode of the season. Super excited for that. And we discussed doing something next week. I can't remember what we nailed down. Might be Marvel Zombies. I know that just came out recently. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, so we got a lot of shit going on. Geek with Me, Cinementalists, and Fire Pod with me. Fire Pod with Me is officially available on YouTube also. Made that happen. That is done. That is in stone. It is there. Ahead of The Return. We've got that down. So you ought to go ahead and check that out. Subscribe and like, or whatever the fuck you do over there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm on Substack. I took a little bit of a hiatus in August, and September is, I'm doing a little better in September. Hopefully October, I've got a lot of horror and Halloween and, spooky season vibes going. I have a feeling I'm going to write about a lot of horror movies and a lot of that sort of vibe. Very, very excited. We got a few good movies coming out this month, so I'll probably write about those after I go see them. Super fun. So a lot to look forward to. Look up Colton Robertson, look up the Cinementalists. That's where you'll find it. But let's see. Yeah, just leave a 5-star rating, review, and download wherever you might be listening. Let's rate Eraserhead. How are we feeling?
How do you It's hard to rate a
how do
movie,
you,
anyways.
on a scale of 1 to 10, yeah.
But then this
what's the number you were going to assign to this? It almost feels antithetical, to the idea of the movie, but we are going to rate it. It's something we do.
I give yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling?
I give it a dash to actually not give it. No, but Blue Velvet. I gave a 9.75. I think I'm like kind of coming back around on that as no, it feels kind of wrong to like not give that the I don't know, the 10. Like it feels like just for the Kyle MacLachlan, everything that was going on there. But this feels less than Blue Velvet for me. It's more as a movie. Which is the weird thing. As far as this gets me to think outside the movie, 10. As far as the movie itself, I would rather watch like a Blue Velvet or even, I don't know. I'm assuming his other movies. I don't know. I don't know how I'll get there, but they sound more interesting to me.
It's difficult to quantify that also, like on TikTok recently, it was about a month ago, I did my official David Lynch ranking on the day that our Blue Velvet episode came out. And I said official, but like it's arbitrary, it depends on the fucking day, man. Eraserhead, for me, I regard it as a top 5 Lynch movie out of 10. I do regard Blue Velvet higher, generally.
It's close. I mean, I have it right there. I'd say like it might be above Blue Velvet on like a given for the visual aspect of it and the craft and the more it is a true abstract movie, and even Blue Velvet, as weird as it gets, is not close to where we were here,
right?
And it feels like it's just he's not holding back anything. It took 3 years for it to get it. Like this is a Lynch as all hell. Like I felt I loved the experience of it. So it's like it feels like it's like a 10. But yeah, it's like I'm rating the movie. Am I rating the movie or am I rating everything all around it?
And how important is everything all around it? Like that's it's
so yeah,
part of it.
But I'd say I know that I think I put it below Blue Velvet, but I do put it above like a Memento. I put this above Memento. That's an 8, so that's easy to know that I'm not like around the 8s. Close Encounters, easy. Yeah, like Prisoners though. I don't think. I think I might take a Prisoners. Denis, that's a little closer. So yeah, I think I'm just in the 9s somewhere. And maybe just a flat 9 actually is kind of just kind of nice. Just a 9 out of 10. It's everything around it gets it that extra point, but just the movie as it is, I'd say I'm comfortable at a 9 for me. But
cool. I'm gonna go 9.75. I love the movie. I think it's incredible. And I gave Blue Velvet a 10. My top 3 David Lynch movies that I regard as my top 3 David Lynch movies, I would give all of them 10. And if this is the first one outside of it, I do feel like there's a tier above for me with Blue Velvet, Fire Walk with Me, and Inland Empire is the other one that I regard.
Okay. It'll be nice to get.
But
there.
Mulholland Drive is a big one that people love. Yes. And I love all of them. I'm not saying that I don't love it. I found that one is regarded widely as a fan favorite. Like a lot of people love Mulholland Drive. And every time I watch it, I try my best to go, this is going to be my favorite David Lynch movie now. And it just never has been. And I don't know why. I don't know what isn't. It's not that something isn't clicking, because I do love it. It's very, very good. I don't know why I can't reach the point where I'm like, I just don't like, I just don't like it as much as I like some of his other stuff. And I don't know why that is. I'm excited to revisit Lost Highway. You'll love Lost Highway. The Straight Story and The Elephant Man are definitely a couple more like very straightforward narratives, like not as weird as Blue Velvet, and very, very normal movies. The Elephant Man was nominated for a lot of Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director. The Straight Story is exactly what the title implies.
Pretty straight, like straight as in
straight
sexual
story.
Straight,
It is,
or just straight as in straight as
Nope.
an arrow.
Straight as an arrow. It's about a guy with the last name Straight.
Okay.
So it is the straight story, but it works in a double entendre capacity that it is a very, very straight story.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not stopping the Lynch train or the Denis train anytime soon. That's for sure.
Nor should you.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you'll dig it. You'll dig everything you're about to get into, and yeah, I wish you the best on that journey, my friend. Keep me updated.
Yes.
But
just
yeah, then 975 and a 9. What's that bring it to on the Cinementalimeter?
A 94, a 938 to get specific, but yeah, 94 on the good old Cinementalimeter. Yes, I don't know.
Yep, that's it.
I can never do it,
that's the
but
one.
you get it every time. It's Cinementalimeter. I can say it slow, but every time I try to go fast,
Cinementalimeter. Cinementalimeter. But all right.
Yeah.
Next week.
What's coming up?
Next week on Cinema Surprise. And what I loved about the first 6 episodes of this edition of Cinema Surprise was the variety in time period. We were opening it up. We were, if we took something from the 70s with Close Encounters, off the board, had to go elsewhere. I took something from the 20s, off the board, had to go elsewhere. So we're jumping 50 years at a time, 20, 30, 40 years at a time. It's a ton of fun. But with horror, Halloween, these types of movies, my favorite decade is the 70s. I'm very confident in that. And I'm going to have a tough time not committing to that. We've also covered a lot of horror movies in our day, a lot of my favorite horror movies. So now I'm getting further, I'm moving beyond the edge of the board, as it were. And, not to say that I'm reaching into the bag for something nobody's ever heard of. That is clearly not the case, but, the next movie that we're covering will be from the next year. It's from 1978. So we're going 1 year apart, and I'm going sci-fi horror with Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That sounds...
It is a remake of a 50s movie. I've seen both. There was a 1956 one directed by Don Siegel. Really, really good. But the Philip Kaufman one from 78 with Don Sutherland, with Jeff Goldblum.
President Snow. Yes,
indeed.
Okay.
Donald Sutherland, absolute legend. And it's one of his best works. I'm tempted to go with another 70s Donald Sutherland horror movie. Actually, for the other one, I'm probably not going to, but it's possible.
This poster looks insane, bro.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers is fucking incredible. You will love it. And again, I another influence on this choice was that I did not want to be as art house as Eraserhead. I wanted to bring us back to a more mass appeal.
Sorry.
I love Eraserhead. It's no,
I guess I still love it.
It's no beef. But as far as the brain power it requires to watch it, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is a much simpler movie. And we will have a great time watching it. So I can't wait. I'm super excited to revisit this movie. It's been one I've had on the docket for a while as far as something I wanted to cover, because I just love the movie. So, next week, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978. I cannot wait. So we will be back. But, yeah, with that, I think we can conclude this episode unless you have any parting thoughts.
I think I need to watch the movie again. I just know shit. I need to. So yeah, but until now, that's about it for Eraserhead. But yeah,
meanwhile,
this will be nice. I see a galaxy, a zombie-looking thing that looks like it's being shot out of a galaxy in this poster, and I don't know. So I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever is in store for next week here. And yeah, Jeff Goldblum, I'm Sutherland, I do only know him as really President Snow. So maybe this will be finally a nice I'll get more of his true just other acting.
Yeah, the reason he's a legend.
Yes,
Yeah,
be very nice. So, but yeah,
yeah. There's he was so good, man. So good in the 70s. MASH, we covered MASH. He was on that.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. Okay, I guess that's a
Don't Look Now was the other one.
Okay.
That I was considering. 73, Nicholas Reg. Awesome movie, beautiful movie, but closer to Eraserhead than Invasion of the Body Snatchers as far as like the art house sort of feel of it. Still incredible, but I wanted something that would be easier than Eraserhead on the next time. Now I might throw us for a loop with the last one, but we'll see.
Okay.
But yeah, so with that, we'll be back next week with Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, in heaven, everything is fine.